Hi, and welcome to Star Teacher Training's new YouTube channel. My name is Will. I'm an EFL teacher, trainer, and now a YouTuber as well. I specialize in teaching large classes of preschool and primary school English learners. And now that the new school year has started, I'm guessing that there's a lot of new teachers out there who are staring at their syllabuses and course books and wondering what they're going to do with a class of 45 kids for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or even 70 minutes. Well, this channel is for them. This channel will provide them with ideas for activities, classroom management ideas, and other ideas that will help them also be successful in large classes in both preschool and primary schools. One common problem that a lot of public school teachers have is that they have to teach a lot of students with very few resources. Some public school teachers will see even 200 or 300 students in a single day. And if you're trying to make copies for every single student, those numbers are going to add up really quickly. And you might spend a lot of your time and your money in print shops waiting for your copies to be made. It's not really feasible. So what can you do that's going to give your students a lot of meaningful, fun activities without using up a lot of resources? Well, here are two ideas that are both fun and meaningful and don't use a lot of resources. They also work great for a lot of the grades that you're going to be seeing in preschool and primary school. So your first option is actually based on one of my absolute favorite things to do in the classroom with young learners, which is miming. Miming is where you create meaningful actions that represent the vocabulary items that your students are studying in class. Let's look at an example to illustrate this with one of the common topics that a lot of students are studying in school, which is school things. So here are the items that I'm going to create miming actions for. Have you got them all? Here we go. I'm going to do the action and then you watch me and guess what the action represents. So the first one is, second one, the third one, the fourth one, fifth, sixth, and seventh. Were you able to get them all? Let's go over it. So first, the first one was pencil, then we had pen, third was bag, fourth was book, fifth was eraser, then we had window, and finally door. When you're creating your miming actions, there's a few key tips that you want to keep in mind. The first one is you want to use big, bold, exaggerated actions. Don't do small things. It's too hard for students to see from the back of the classroom. So do big actions that are really easy to see. Also, for young kids, small motions can be kind of hard if they're not really that dexterous. So if you do big actions, it's a lot easier for them to copy, and also it's a lot more engaging and kind of funny or silly for the students as well. And the next thing you want to do when you're doing miming actions is it's a really good idea to introduce the vocabulary items with flashcards or realia, and then introduce your miming actions and have your students guess what those actions represent. That way, it's a really easy way to concept check that the students are getting exactly what items you're trying to teach. Now, the actual game or activity that you can do with miming is something that I like to call Drill Sergeant. Drill Sergeant is really similar to Simon Says, but you just get rid of that whole Simon Says part and just tell your students what to do, they listen to you, and then they do those actions. So in a very simple version of Drill Sergeant, you might just call out pencil, book, pen, eraser. Your students listen to you and they do those actions. One key tip for when you're playing Drill Sergeant is I like to put up the vocabulary items near me so that the students can see them and I can see them as well. That way, if I forget an item or two, I can check my board and then I don't miss calling out any of the key items. Another thing to do with drill sergeant is if you're going to be doing the actions as you call them out, give yourself a little pause so that the students have time to hear you, listen, and then do the action before you're doing it. So it might look something like this. You might say, pen, book. So give that a little pause just so your students can process the language and do the action, rather than if you were to say, for example, book, bag, window. If you're doing it like that, your students don't have time to process, and instead they just watch you and copy what you're doing. Now, if you have a little bit more advanced students and they can handle more than just the simple vocabulary items, you could start using some chunks. So instead of saying pen or pencil, you could say it's a pen, or it's a pencil, or it's a book. And if you have even more advanced students, then you could start using some collocations. So you could say open a door, or close your book, or write with a pen, or write with a pencil, or use an eraser, just to add a little bit extra English, a little bit more listening challenge, and use a little bit more natural language for your students to respond to. So drill sergeant is one of my absolute favorite activities to do with my students, and in many classes I do it almost every time that I see my students. So your second option that's great for young learners in a low resource, large classroom environment is chants. Chants are really popular with young learner teachers because they involve rhythm and predictability, which are two things that kids like a lot. Rhythm and predictability help students feel like they're in control. And when you're creating your chants, you don't even have to be all that original or creative. For example, these are two chants that I like to use with my students. So the first one goes like this. What's this? What's this? It's a pen. It's a pen. What's this? What's this? It's a pencil. It's a pencil. What's this? What's this? It's a book. It's a book. What's this? What's this? It's an eraser. It's an eraser. What's this? What's this? It's a bag. It's a bag. Very simple, 2 by 2, very easy to organize, and as you see, not that amazing, not that creative, but you can get a lot of students chanting with you as you go through those. Grade 1 students, grade 2 students, even grade 3 students will go along happily with that for a minute or two. The second chant that you could do is even more simple. All you do is just go down the line of the vocabulary items and just repeat them. So for example, pen and a pencil, pen and a pencil, book and eraser, book and an eraser, pen and a pencil, pen and a pencil, book and an eraser, book and an eraser. It's a bag, it's a bag. So just go down the line and try to arrange the vocabulary items in a way that has a nice flow, and you can add and some other words to add the syllables that you need if that comes up. So with chants, another thing that you can do is add some gestures. So I like to do a question gesture when I'm asking the question. So what's this? What's this? So when I'm doing the chant and then the students do it, they mimic me, and that just adds some additional meaning for the students because they know this becomes the question, and it also adds some movement, which increases the energy level and the engagement level for my students. You also can include a lot of different grammar with the chants. So for example, instead of just saying what's this, you could also do things like what do you like? What do you like? I like cheese. I like cheese. What do you like? What do you like? I like pizza. I like pizza. Or you could do who's that? Who's that? That's grandma. That's grandma. Who's that? Who's that? That's my sister. That's my sister. Or you could do what's he wearing? What's he wearing? He's wearing a hat. He's wearing a hat. What's she wearing? What's she wearing? She's wearing jeans. She's wearing jeans. So you could do all sorts of different grammar or vocabulary with chants just by arranging the syllables and arranging the words in a way that has a nice flow. Again, you don't have to be too creative for your kids to get involved and want to go through your chant for a minute or 2 minutes or even 3 minutes in a short class. So I hope you found this video to be useful and interesting. I'm going to be experimenting with this channel and seeing what works and what doesn't work. So I'd really love to get your feedback. And also, if you have any topics or issues that you want me to cover, you can also include those in the comments section below. Finally, if you're so inclined, please like and subscribe to this channel so that I can know how well I'm doing. Thanks for watching and see you again later.